My name is Thomas Bach, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer and founder of HeritX. HeritX is a non-profit research and development organization whose driving purpose and sole goal is preventing inherited cancer. Together with my co-founder and friend Joy Morris, we created HeritX to fulfill what we think is a fundamental responsibility: to stop inherited cancer from devastating entire families, sweeping across genders and generations. Because our own families are affected by BRCA, and as advocates in the BRCA community, we know all too well the emotional, physical, and often financial burden that inherited cancer can have. The possibility that our children, daughters and sons would have to undergo what countless BRCA carriers and patients are facing today keeps us awake at night. I'm sharing this to assure you that our HeritX team, our board represented here by Jay Rizzullo and Kirkpatrick, and the many supporters we are fortunate to have, that we could not be more motivated and will do whatever it takes to help developing a medical therapy that prevents all types of inherited BRCA cancer and that leaves people healthy and whole. So the question now for us and this conference is, how can we translate 20 years of scientific progress into a comparable medical progress for BRCA carriers and patients whose preventive options remained largely unchanged during this same period? But in order to not fail down the road in the so-called valley of death of drug development, we have to consider all aspects that are required, including technical and regulatory requirements. This conference already includes drug development experts from both the public and private sectors, such as Doug Hager, who has been responsible for the largest cancer therapy pipeline across biopharma, Grant Williams, former Deputy Director of the Oncology Division at the FDA, or David Parkinson, who has a unique translational development perspective through his work at the NIH, academia, biopharma, and recently venture capital. So focus number one is on the goal and approvable non-surgical prevention. Then focus number two is on the speed that patients with a life-threatening condition deserve. To implement the roadmap as fast as possible, we have to support bold innovation, pushing boundaries and thinking differently, especially to increase the speed of achieving our goal. Many of you have told us that those kinds of projects, out-of-the-box projects, are rarely funded anymore. To provide a solution, we decided that the Research Partnership Program at HeritX will support compelling out-of-the-box ideas as well. 2 weeks ago, Vice President Joe Biden from the Rose Garden of the White House called for a moonshot in cancer. When we aspire for transformational progress, when we look at the big endeavors of humanity, the moonshot, the Human Genome Project, the digital revolution, we see that breakthrough often resulted from lateral adoption of solutions from other fields. Adoption of solutions from one field to another field. Therefore, to help accelerate existing research, HeritX extends the research for solutions beyond the traditional boundaries of medical disciplines and research sectors. Other medical fields, engineering hubs, biomedical startups, technology firms, longevity projects, the Googles of the world, you name it, they combine a wealth of ideas and technologies that could help us accelerating progress in BRCA. It takes time and effort to find those, but HeritX is committed to capture such opportunities and connect them with the BRCA field. Already today, several colleagues are among us whose world-class research has not been focused on BRCA, but who can provide a valuable additional perspective. Over the next 2 days, here at Banbury, we have the opportunity to propel the translation of 2 decades of basic research into an approvable medical non-surgical prevention for inherited BRCA cancer. By focusing together on this goal, by defining the milestones to get there, and by sparking and building on each other's ideas beyond traditional boundaries. During those days, we would like to identify specific action items And to give credit to Alan, who especially has been pushing for this, I actually started to call this workshop no longer a think tank, but a do tank. I personally commit that those action items will not be lost and will be followed up, so that this workshop will not be a moment in time, but trigger momentum forward to a medical, non-surgical prevention that we are happy to give to our children and that allows us also to sleep at night. Our families, the many other families looking at this conference right now, we can't express enough how grateful we are that you have been coming to Banbury for sharing your ideas and insight and for finding better ways forward. You are our hope, you are enablers, and we would like to be your partners for a better future. So, we all know by now, inherited BRCA cancer is a most devastating medical condition. But today, it also is a huge and most unique scientific opportunity that no other researcher has ever had since the war on cancer was declared on December 23, 1971. What we can put in motion at this conference, the steps you take in the next 2 days, can trigger a fundamental change in paradigm of how we as a society approach cancer at large, from treating cancer after the fact to preventing it before it starts. So that one day we can look back at this moment and say, the step we took together in this room became one giant leap for millions of families with inherited cancer. Thank you for leading us into that future. Thank you very, very much.